In honor of Juneteenth, we're featuring a former All-Indiana artist whose work celebrates the black community. Here's the full interview.
You've ever taken a stroll down Georgia Street here in Indianapolis?
He's a Mississippi native but calls Indy home. Our artist today leaves his mark in spoken word or poetry and is the author of 5 poetry collections, some of which have made their way to the Amazon bestseller list.
His name is Thomas Kneeland. A majority of his work brings attention to the origins of systemic oppression for people of African descent. In fact, he is the Frontier Poetry 2022 Global Poetry Prize finalist for the continent of Africa. Welcome, our friend, Thomas Kneeland.
Welcome.
I mean, my man, what an introduction.
Oh, my gosh.
We're doing a little bit of everything.
Talking to our booking producer, Taylor, and she was like, all of the accomplishments, it was hard to pick which ones she was going to put in that intro. It's amazing. We've had a lot of musical guests come in here as artists who claim to be like poetry lyricists,
right,
but you quite literally are. So how did you get into this? How did you pick the spoken word as your talent?
Yeah, started off with a dream in undergrad. Started off as a bio major, ended up canceling my major and switched to creative writing. Found that it was better for me to doctor on people with the written word than it would be to use some surgical tools. So the spoken word became my life, quite literally, and that's how I came about it.
Whenever I meet someone who does spoken word, those are special people. Like, you know, I always want to ask them, like, okay, when did you start writing? You know, who served as an influence for you over the years? Anybody come to mind? How does your journey really kind of get started?
Definitely. For the past 10 years, a great mentor of mine, Joshua Bennett, who's also critically acclaimed as a spoken word poet, and I've been following his work for quite some time. And it just looks great to see another black man in my position as a poet, inspiring the communities around the country.
I love that. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that always amazes me when it comes to poetry is, like, a lot of people can rhyme words on a paper, right? But it's the way of making that come off those pages through your voice and through your heart and mind that really lays it on people. What's that like when you have that moment where you go, oh, that hit?
Yeah, it comes and goes. There are moments where, you know, I really dive into the poems, and sometimes I surprise myself once it's all said and done. Like, man, I really wrote that, and I can go out and perform this, and just to hear the feedback from peers as well in the program that I'm in, Butler MFA. It's really good to hear that my work is not only looking good on paper, but it's looking good when other people hear it too.
And probably feeling good as well. That's what I hear about you in your words. So you've got a poem to perform for us today. Why did you choose to share this particular one with us? So
I've been thinking a lot about black joy, and I feel like
1,000 times over.
Black joy, black joy.
Yes.
I feel like this poem is very indicative of black joy, kind of like looking at the ways in which we overcome in order to get to that place of black joy, but also how we get to a point of sustaining it even when we have those elements of oppression, those elements of injustice that stand against us. We still have that ability to stand on top, or as I put in the poem, exist in the sky, so to speak.
I love that.
Well, we are certainly excited to hear you perform this for us. What's the name of this poem, and then the floor is yours?
Yeah. The poem is called One Way.
All right, take it away.
Hold on 1 second. You gotta move the camera. Yep.
Celebrate with me this history, this black joy. Let it drip from your tongues like honey and milk from the promised land, and say we be rhyme and rhythm and arrhythmia for offbeats we beat into school desks when beat cops finally see us as everything but target practice. We be vines reaching to the skies on sides of brick buildings where murals reside, carry on the size of our past lives to soar higher, extinguish the fire that rises from the belly of concrete streets, potholes and hood Bibles. They can't reach us where we're going, and we can't go back to where they've been. 'cause we way up like underground railroads, closer to heaven than our ancestors could have ever imagined. We way up, we breathe slow, we move fast, we thin sin, we pray again for a glimpse of Martin and Malcolm and Medgar and Martin, Bland and Brown and Nichols and Taylor, to tell us how to live in the sky with feet on ground and eyes filled with sun, and say we way up like nobody's business. Enjoy this tapestry of a melanin rainbow we've created in the sky, where everyone can see us no matter where they stand or try to hide. We be that much higher, say we be way up, say we fly, say we black.
Yes. Amazing.
Oh, so good. I felt that. Thank you for sharing your gift with us.
Thomas, thank you so much for stopping by today. His poetry chapbook is titled We Be Walking Blackly in the Deep, and will debut this spring from Marian University's Department of Media, Communication, and Design. You can visit allindiana.tv to connect with Thomas and learn more about all of his work. Again,
you are not going to want to miss this one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.